Good afternoon, and thank you for being here this afternoon. The Department of Homeland Security has estimated that there are currently 11.5 million illegal residents residing within the United States. What repercussions do you think this has, having such a large group of foreign nationals living in our country without having gone through the proper and legal immigration channels? Research suggests that illegal immigration in the United States has weakened our national security because it has deepened our financial crisis and created an isolated underclass of undocumented residents. We will be discussing how jobs being filled by illegal immigrants and also how having a huge unassimilated population both threaten our nation's security. The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mike Mullen, said, "The single biggest threat to national security is the national debt." That's huge. The single biggest threat to national security is the national debt. So looking at this from the financial angle, the Federation for American Immigration Reform conducted a comprehensive study where they looked at all of the taxes that are paid by illegal immigrants, and they also looked at the benefits that are being received by those same people from the US government. And they found that on balance, the US taxpayers are paying $113 billion every year because of illegal immigration. Now, this is draining already scarce resources that should be going to our hospitals, to our schools, to law enforcement, to our public assistance programs. With unemployment reaching historic heights, it really is detrimental to have a surplus of workers in the job force. And as illustrated by this chart, at the beginning of 2010, the Associated Press reported that there were 15.4 million citizens of the United States of America who are actively looking for work. So this number is represented by our purple pillar. And at the same time, the Federation for American Immigration Reform had the most widely accepted estimate as to how many illegal immigrants were employed in the United States at that time. And that number is 8.5 million, and that is represented by the gray pillar on the graph. As you can see, if illegal immigrants hadn't been employed within the United States in 2010, there would have been 8.5 million jobs available for the US citizens who are seeking work. And theoretically, our unemployment number could have been cut in half, and that would have greatly helped the financial crisis that was deepening. And just as there's a financial burden to illegal immigration, and that poses a threat to our national security, so does the existence of an underclass that is desperate to live under the radar of the US government. Kirk Semple found that illegal immigrant children suffer great psychological stress at a very young age, and he says that this is due to living in crowded, poorly maintained living conditions, and also it's due to trying to live without being noticed by the society that you're living within. Marcelo and Carola Suarez Orozco and Irina Todorova connected the dots between newcomers coming to a country and not assimilating into that country's mainstream, and the propensity of those immigrants to then feel marginalized and to turn toward crime and to gangs, and in extreme situations, even to fundamental terrorism. The fiscal and social costs of illegal immigration in the United States weaken our national security. Remember the words of the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mike Mullen, that the greatest threat to our national security is our national debt. Remember our graph on unemployment. Think of how a lack of assimilation of a group of people in a country leads to crime and oftentimes gangs. The leaders of our country must take measures to facilitate a secure future for generations to come. They can do this by implementing and enforcing strategies that will fix the problem of illegal immigration in the United States. Are there any questions?
Why not just eliminate the magnet of jobs and make it illegal for employers to hire undocumented workers?
Thank you. That's a great question. According to the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, it is already illegal for an employer in the United States to hire someone who is undocumented or doesn't have the legal authority to work in the United States. It is also illegal for someone that is here without permission to accept employment within the United States. So we already have the laws on the books. It's just a matter of enforcing them. Any other questions?
Is the government currently targeting all illegal residents for deportation?
I found an interesting statistic. According to the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, between the years of 2008 and 2011, they deported 396,000 individuals. And of those 396,000 deportations, 90% of them were in line with the agency's priorities of deporting first those who had broken criminal laws, those who had recently arrived in the country, those who were fugitives from our immigration courts, and also those who had repeatedly broken our immigration laws. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.